news is that now we're going to talk about the solution. And it can be as simple as, obviously the solution could have short, mid, and long term. I am going to mention different solutions to this problem in different areas, but obviously we can start with something as simple as remove all the Sharia councils, the Sharia courts. Number one, that is of the Muslim world, not of the free world. Two, remove the child marriages. If they are living together, remove the children from those marriages. Let people talk, let people discuss the problem. Those are, I would say, the ones that can be done faster. Okay, so now let's go to the solutions. One solution, it's, even though I agree fully, I don't think it's that easy for the governments to achieve, but if anything, this can be for the long term, and it's to decentralized accommodation of refugees tended to reduce it, as in to decentralize the refugees. I would say, yes, I agree, but again, I don't know how complicated it would be. But for sure, it's one of the most important parts. And it's because decentralized accommodation of refugees tended to reduce the crime rate. Like, that's given. Okay, another solution is to evaluate the candidates of the asylum seekers. For example, the evaluation should be how likely they will abide by the laws and adopt the values of their host country, for them to prove their ability to adapt. The highest probability of entering the labor market, to give priority to those that have the highest probability to enter in the labor market rather than the welfare. Makes sense. You want people that are able to work, that want to work, that want to give back to the country. Then, what migrants already know about the laws, culture, and norms of the society they wish to join. This is another thing. Migrants should know, at the very least, the basic things of the country they want to live in. Like, maybe they don't need to be experts in the language, but they should know that harassing women is wrong. Another thing that should be evaluated is like when asylum seekers are given health checkups, they should be screened by a psychologist too, in order to determine how willing they are to adapt. This, I will also agree. I also think that if they're gonna do that, they should also obviously have some, I don't know if it's regulation or requirements or something to the psychologists as well, because it can go both sides, like if it's a bad psychologist and let's say a racist one, then he will reject the majority of them. But if it's a lefty one, because he doesn't want to appear racist, he will admit all of them. So this is a tricky one, at least for me. It makes sense, but it is also tricky. There is one more thing that I haven't mentioned, and is that also a good amount of the refugees or asylum seekers that arrive to the EU, they lie about their age. Some say that they are minors when in fact they are not. And I believe it was Germany, the one that had like a system in place to double check or the age of the people. But that included, obviously, physical checkups, even in intimate parts. And a lot of people that defend the refugees were saying that that was going against the freedom of the refugees and their dignity and all that. And it's like, I can understand it can be very uncomfortable, but you have to make sure what is the age of these people, because also if they are lying about being a minor, like they are gonna be it's gonna be easier for them to be in contact with minors, because they're lying. And on top of that, if they commit a crime and they get persecuted and they actually go to jail, the the sentence will be lower because they will think that he's a minor. It's very important to know the age of these people. And if it's uncomfortable, I mean, as in, sorry, but the authority, if anything, they should all only try to be as polite as possible when doing that and as respectful as possible. But let's continue. Okay. Those migrants unwilling to adapt should be given a reasonable time frame to demonstrate their adaptation, 1 or 2 years. If unsuccessful, they should be asked to leave or be deported. I 100% agree with this. Like, let's say if someone doesn't want to adapt when they just arrive, obviously that doesn't mean that they will remain like that forever. Just like people can change for bad, they can also change for good. So given a time frame, and as she said it, as a decent amount of time frame, you can evaluate properly the people that actually want to stay and be part of the new society they are going to. Another solution to this problem is to fund the border enforcement, because at the moment of 2021, it was quite underfunded. So that's another way. You start by stopping the people right at the border. Okay, these are some of the examples that have already been applied in the European countries, which I also think are good solutions. Like there is a plausible plan of action. And this is in Austria in 2018. Okay, so Austria has made migrants sign the Integration Declaration, committing them to meeting obligations in order to continue to receive government assistance and maintain their residential status in Austria. Those who don't comply can face sanctions or can be sent back to their home countries. Now, the requirements for this integration declaration are as simple as the German language proficiency, values training, workforce participation. I think are more than fair and reasonable. And obviously, I assume they have a time frame. It's not like on day one you have to be fluent on the language. In Denmark, children in migrant neighborhoods must be separated from their parents for 25 hours a week and learn Danish values, or their parents will have their welfare payments cut. In addition, curfews for under 18-year-olds are intended to minimize their involvement in street gangs. However, this policy was later withdrawn for being too strict. I believe it was just the curfews that was withdrawn. I am not 100% sure, because if it was the first party removing the children for 25 hours a week, I think that is perfect. Like that is, I wouldn't say just from their parents, but also from their own community. You cannot expect people to integrate and adapt if you are always keeping them together. So I think that was good. The curfews I can understand to be more debatable or controversial. I would say it depends on the details of it, but I don't see it as bad. And these are now the solutions in general. Is like the authorities are too lenient on criminals, for sure, 100%. I don't understand why. Clearly because they don't want to be racist. It's better to leave criminals free than to be a racist. According to these people, obviously, not me. National and regional police forces dedicated to the protection of women and girls, LGBTQ, Jewish communities, and dissidents of Islam. 100% agree. I agree. And also, I don't know if I have mentioned it already or not, but Muslims that live Islam are at great danger. Like they get ostracized by their families, their community, and in some cases, they get unalived, because that's how tolerant these people are. Okay, the other one is to stop the taboo on open discussion about the problem. This is the first step. No solution will be able to to appear, or I don't know, like we will not reach a solution if we cannot even talk about the problem. Sex education to all people. The European Union should mandate sex and relationship education. Yes, because how we have been saying previously, they don't like that part of the curriculum, and they go out of their way to make it not possible for their children to learn this. And if you want to stop these sex crimes, you really have to teach these kids about relationships and how a woman, a girl, is equal to a boy, a man. Something that is quite clear at this point in time is that, and it has been for quite a while, the economic evidence is unequivocal. Liberal democratic societies are more peaceful, prosperous, and tolerant than those that permit autocratic rule. Western societies should assume gender equality as shouldn't. Western societies should not assume gender equality is a given. It must be protected. I agree with this. You cannot expect that this problem just go away and that these people magically learn your social values if you don't teach them the social values, if you don't even understand where they are coming from, literally. And before I finish with this presentation, I thought it was also worthy mentioning that obviously not all Muslims are the same. Some Muslims that have migrated to the European countries have integrated perfectly fine, and actually it's them that are speaking out about this problem, about bringing attention to the problem so that they can bring the solution. A good amount of these Muslims, ex-Muslims in some cases, want to talk about this because they want their people to be integrated properly, because they understand the problems with Islam, and they want people to also see those problems so that they can improve, because it's improving personally and at a societal or as a country level. So yes, it's obviously not all Muslims, but it's important to understand that it's Islam. It's because of how Islam is and how it teaches their subjects that they have this kind of mentality. And if they want to migrate, if they want to live in a Western country, then they should understand that they have to change their mentality.